Oh, is it on? Yo, it's CB Praise.
It's CB Praise.
Yo, it's CB Praise. This is our first ever video. And today we're going to be asking each other very interesting questions. Jeff volunteered to go first.
Alright, fine, I'll go first. Alright. This is a good one. Is it hard to stay Christian at school?
Here's the thing. A lot of the times, I find myself trying to be Christian, but I'm also not trying to stand out like we should. We should be like lights among people. But I don't really do that a whole lot, but I try to at the same time. And I would like to share God more than I currently do. But I guess it's just something that I'll have to get better at. All right.
One thing about that, I'll have to add on that. The thing you said about not standing out, it's like a mixture of setting that example, setting that role model, being that nice person that Jesus would want us to be, while at the same time not wanting the popularity to yourself. If that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Now for my question. My first question. Okay, you ready for this?
No. Wait, should we have it where I keep asking you questions?
No, we should go
Back and forth?
back and forth. So anyways, my first question here, all right? Do you find it hard to talk about Jesus to your friends? Does that make sense?
Well, it kind of depends. Like, if we're talking about Jesus, about admitting to a sin, yeah, it's pretty hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to just admit and actually accept that I was wrong, I committed a sin. But if you're simply talking about Jesus, and maybe you had an argument at school or something with a group of people, and you're like, yo, I just had this argument, and then you guys talk about Jesus for like 5 hours, and dude, I'm all for it.
All right. Me personally, I would say I love talking to people about Jesus. But some of my non-believer friends, I talk with them about it. I try to get them to give it a shot, and some of them just don't want to put in the effort that they should, you know? And I love talking about Jesus, especially with my friends that also believe in him. Sometimes we just have long conversations about it. Sometimes we spend the day talking about it, and we have these real in touch meetings with God. And I love that. But at the same point, if it's a friend that doesn't believe so much, then
It's hard.
it's harder, yeah. But sometimes when I do find the courage to talk with them about it, and they have an open mind, that can be a different story, and they might actually start giving it a shot.
Wait, frick the trivia right now, but just talking this, it's kind of cool talking to people who aren't Christian, but it's also just it feels like you're just talking to them and you're just pushing it on them, but it's kind of like something you have to do.
Yeah.
It feels like they're so annoyed with me right now about Jesus and I'm ruining it for them, but that's just our brain going, we shouldn't be. That's our sin nature saying, no, don't preach the gospel. If that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. What's your question for me?
All right.
He had to write his questions down.
We'll cut this out, don't worry. No, we're keeping it in. All right, anyway. Have you ever doubted God?
Well,
Wait, let me add to that. Have you ever doubted God I believe we all doubted God, but have you ever questioned straight up just is this real? All this is just insane. All this is this actually real?
Yeah. I would be a liar if I said that I never doubted God. Feel like everyone would be. But Yeah, sometimes I do just like straight up question him. Not so much as I used to, but still do it sometimes. I sometimes think about it as the one parable, the parable that Jesus said about the different types of seeds and where they fall. And I'm the one, I forget what it was, I think it was on like rocky soil or something, a seed that plants in rocky soil. And I sprout up immediately with joy and take his message, then I soon wilt away because my roots aren't deep enough. So that just keeps on happening over and over and over. But lately, I found myself having stronger roots. I guess eventually, like, my roots were just strong enough to break through those rocks, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's not easy being Christian, and whoever tells you it's easy is such a liar.
They're a liar.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
All right, I think you asked me a question now.
Yeah. All right. Do you ever just you're just not in the mood to do anything about God, then you do it? Like, what motivates you to do that? Especially when it's hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I'm just not in the mood to read my Bible, maybe I'll read my Bible and I just get burnt out of it, or I'm gonna take a break or something. It's the thought this isn't just no regular book. This book I'm reading isn't a regular book. This should be a sacred book, and you should act as if it is, rather than, I'm gonna go read my favorite book. It's not like that. You have to continuously put in that effort to express that and just show yourself that it is God's book.
Mm-hmm.
Not just something you read, which it is something you should read.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think I asked you a question now, right?
Yeah, hold on. Let me respond to what you said real quick, though. So, anyways, I would say when I'm very unmotivated to do, read my Bible or do anything with God, that's when the devil strikes. And so in those moments, you just gotta pull through. When you don't feel like doing it, that's when you need to do it the most. When I feel unmotivated to read my Bible, I am well, here's the thing. If I don't do this now, later on I'm going to be yo, I should have read my Bible then. Mm-hmm. Or I should have listened to worship music then. Or I should have prayed then.
Right.
Instead, so that's what motivates me to do it. And also, sometimes it's hard to do it. But then, when you remember the effects of the other things you could be doing instead, let's say, for free reading time at school, you're yo, should I read my Bible, or should I read Percy Jackson or something? Then you're gonna want to read Percy Jackson because it's that interesting story, and you don't know what's gonna happen. But then when the Bible, you read it, you don't want to read it at first, but then when you actually read it, you feel more fulfilled, more
Hello.
What's the word? More accomplished, and you learn more.
Motivated.
Yeah, more motivated to do godly things.
All right.
And you should ask me a question.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking what's something Christians don't talk about enough?
I'd say that oftentimes Christians don't talk about Jesus enough, because here's the thing. He was willing to endure torture for us, and he was willing to die for our sins. Do you know how you feel guilty for doing something, then that guilt just haunts you all day and all night, and sometimes you can barely go to sleep because thinking about the guilty things that you've done? That's because you know you've sinned, and you know that what you're doing was bad, then you still did it anyways. And Jesus, on that cross, he took all of our sin, meaning he felt that feeling, but like times as many people who ever lived, you know? And then he was whipped with a flagrum 39 times. 40 was a lethal amount. Flagrum has bits and pieces of bone, glass, rock, tons of like sharp parts. They whipped him 39 times. So much blood all over. They tore chunks of his hair out, you know? They put a crown of thorns covering his entire head. And then they made him carry a around 300-pound cross up a hill. And then it got to the point where he was bleeding so much that later on when a soldier stabbed his dead body, only water poured out. And he was stressed so much that before he was captured, he was sweating blood, man. It's crazy. Jesus did all that for us, and Christians don't even really talk about it much, you know?
Yeah.
Like, as a matter of fact, most Christians don't even spend 1% of their day with God, you know?
Right.
Even though he should take up most of our day. Like, think about it. Our whole day, we spend, like, I don't know, doom scrolling, watching, like, TV shows, and doing stuff that just isn't Christ-filled, maybe even, like, eating too much.
Right.
Takes up our entire day. But we barely read the Bible for, like, an hour. No, we don't even do that. And we don't really, like, do much to spend time with God throughout the day. We don't even spend, like, 2 hours with Him. Or even 1 hour, really. You know?
Let alone dying for him.
Exactly, man.
As he died for us.
There's no way that we could repay what he did for us.
If
you
we
know?
can't even read our Bible
Yeah.
without struggling.
Let me tell you, it's a narrow road, and barely anyone can stay on it. In the end, the amount of people in heaven will be significantly smaller than the people in hell. Hate to tell you, but it's the truth. And sometimes staying on that narrow road can be hard, but in the end, it'll work out. You know? Because the road to hell feels like heaven, but the road to heaven feels like hell. But out of all of eternity, I'd want to endure that pain on the way there instead of all that
Having
good.
a joy for earth and getting put to eternal damnation.
Yeah, eternal damnation. Hell is just like the absence of God. Who wants a world without God?
Right, but people say that God is harsh.
The Epstein Files.
I know it's kind of off topic, but
The Epstein
Files just shows why God had to be so stern, so rude, I guess people call it, to the people back in the Old Testament.
Because they're uncontrollable.
They're uncontrollable. He gives them free will, and it's sickening.
Yeah, they
honestly.
know about the goodness of God, but then they just don't, like, act on it, you know?
Exactly.
Like, for example, the Pharisees. In the book of Exodus, like, he was given all these signs about, like, the 10 plagues. Moses showed him stuff, and his heart was still very hardened. Even after he saw that our God overpowered all of his gods, he still chose to stay with them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it was because he was just too stubborn. And look what happened to him. He got swept away by the waves when the Red Sea closed for Moses opening it.
Right.
And the 10 plagues were just like telling them, like, yo. Because each one of the 10 plagues is like a contrast to one of the Egyptian gods. For example, like Horus, he's the god of the sun, right, or whatever. Then pretty sure one of the 10 plagues, they like blocked out the sun. And there was like a god of the Nile. They made the Nile blood. There was like god of fertility and like stuff. And I think it had something to do with frogs, maybe. I don't know.
It was like the locust.
It's like a frog head for the god of fertility, I'm pretty sure, right? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But like each one of the gods was, well, not each one of them, but like their gods were like proven wrong in the 10 plagues, or like showing God's power over them. And also, that's the whole reason that God flooded the earth, because there's so much evil in the world. And so he took the only decent people, put them on an ark with like a couple of each animal, 7 of some because they needed to sacrifice them. And, yeah. Hey, pretty sure it's my turn to ask a question. Wait.
Should we end it?
Hold on, let me ask you a question.
We're at 15 minutes. You can ask me.
15 minutes.
You can ask me a question quick though.
All right. If you were to meet one person in the Bible besides Jesus, obviously, who would it be? Or like group of people?
That's a tough question. Honestly, I'd probably want to meet Paul, cause I just want to ask him like, what was going through your head to have so much hatred towards a group of people that were the truth, to kill them. I know it's kind of random, but it's just, it's not often you hate a group of people that bad that you just go slaughtering them. So, just asking him, and just his testimony is so moving. Because imagine going from killing to going to that same part, that the reason you were killing him, and then the remorse he had to feel about it.
Alright. Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, because he was killing Christians, all that stuff, and then afterwards he was one of the most like effective servants of Christ, like he went to people telling them what they did wrong, and then he showed them Christ,
Right.
He spreaded the power of God. He went from pretty much hating the truth to being a preacher of the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it's fire.
All I got of questions right now.
Yeah, all of our questions.
Preach this item?
Yeah, preach this item.